Have you ever walked into a crowded room and felt like every single person was staring at you? What if I told you that the brutal truth is nobody cares at all? While you listen and read along, you are naturally improving your English. Don't worry about understanding every word. Just enjoy the story and keep listening. Meet Leo. Leo is a young man with a normal job and a normal life. But Leo has a secret problem. He worries too much. He always thinks people are watching him. He always thinks people are judging him. One Tuesday morning, Leo is getting ready for work. He puts on his favorite white shirt. It is clean. It is perfectly ironed. He feels good. He walks into his kitchen to drink his morning coffee. He looks at his phone. He reads a funny message from his friend. He smiles, but then disaster happens. Leo drops his coffee cup. The brown coffee splashes everywhere. It splashes on the floor. It splashes on the table. And worst of all, it splashes right in the middle of his perfect white shirt. There is now a big, ugly brown stain on his chest. Leo panics. His heart starts to beat fast. He looks at the clock. It is 8:15 a.m. He is going to be late for work. He does not have time to change his shirt. He must go to the office right now, wearing the stained shirt. Can you imagine this happening to you? Leo walks out of his house. He feels terrible. He feels like the stain is glowing in the dark. He walks down the street to the bus stop. A woman walks past him. She looks at him for 1 second. She saw the stain, Leo thinks. She thinks I am dirty. She thinks I am a mess. Leo gets on the bus. The bus is full of people. Leo feels hot. He feels nervous. He tries to cover the stain with his bag. He looks at the people on the bus. An old man is reading a newspaper. A young girl is listening to music. A businessman is looking out the window. But in Leo's mind, they are all secretly laughing at him. He thinks every person on the bus is thinking about his dirty shirt. He feels a heavy weight in his stomach. This is social anxiety. Have you ever felt like Leo? Have you ever felt like there is a bright light shining on you, and everyone is watching your mistakes? Psychologists have a name for this feeling. They call it the spotlight effect. A spotlight is a big, bright light used in theaters. When the spotlight shines on an actor, everyone in the audience looks at them. The spotlight effect is when you believe that a bright light is shining on you all the time. You think everyone notices your bad hair. You think everyone notices your dirty shoes. You think everyone remembers that stupid thing you said yesterday. But here is a new question for you to think about. What if the spotlight does not exist? If you enjoy stories like this and want to improve your English every day, follow and subscribe. Let us go back to Leo. Leo arrives at his office. He sits at his desk. He hides behind his computer screen. He hopes nobody comes to talk to him. His coworker Sarah walks over. Sarah is friendly and smart. "Good morning, Leo," Sarah says. "Do you have the report for the meeting today?" Leo's face turns red. He slowly hands her the report. He waits for her to look at his shirt. He waits for her to laugh. He waits for her to say, "Wow, Leo, what happened to your shirt? You look terrible." But Sarah just takes the paper. She smiles. "Thanks, Leo. See you at the meeting." Then she walks away. Leo is confused. Did she not see it? How could she miss it? It is a giant brown stain on a white shirt. Are you still reading? Good, because we are about to learn the most important lesson of this story. The brutal truth is this: nobody cares. People are not watching you. People are not judging you. Why? Because people are too busy watching and judging themselves. Think about your own life. When you walk down the street, are you looking at everyone's clothes? Are you remembering the mistakes of strangers? No. You are probably thinking about your own life. You are thinking about what to eat for dinner. You are thinking about your bills. You are thinking about your own bad haircut. Every person in the world is the main character of their own story. When you watch a movie, you care about the main character. You follow their journey. You care about their problems. In real life, you are the main character of your movie. But you must remember something very important. You are only the main character in your movie. In everyone else's movie, you are just an extra. You are just a person in the background. You are just someone walking past them on the street. They might see you for 1 second, but then they go back to worrying about their own movie. Even if you are only listening, your brain is learning English. This brings us to a tough realization. It might be hard to hear, but it will change your life. We often think that social anxiety comes from low self-esteem. We think we feel anxious because we feel small. But sometimes, it is the opposite. Sometimes, social anxiety is actually a massive ego. Wait, what? How can anxiety be ego? Ego means thinking you are very important. When you have a massive ego, you think the world revolves around you. You think you are the center of the universe. When you feel social anxiety, what are you actually thinking? You are thinking, everyone is looking at me. You are thinking, everyone cares about my mistakes. You are thinking, I am so important that these strangers are going to spend their time thinking about me. Do you see the ego in those thoughts? Your anxiety is tricking you. It is making you believe you are the center of everyone's attention. But the world does not revolve around you. Think about your answer before continuing. Have you ever thought about anxiety this way? Once you realize that your anxiety is just your ego playing tricks on you, you can start to feel free. You can start to relax. You are not that important to strangers. And that is actually a wonderful, beautiful thing. Leo decides to test this idea. He reads about the spotlight effect on the internet. He reads about the ego. He wants to know if it is true. Do people really not care? He decides to do an experiment. It is Saturday. Leo usually wears normal, boring clothes on Saturday, blue jeans and a black t-shirt. But today, he goes into his closet and finds the craziest shirt he owns. It is a bright yellow shirt with big pink pineapples on it. It is very ugly. It is very silly. If I wear this, Leo thinks, everyone will look at me. Everyone will judge me. I will look foolish. Leo puts on the bright yellow pineapple shirt. He feels his heart beating fast again. He feels the social anxiety coming back. His ego is whispering to him, they are going to laugh at you, Leo. You are the center of attention. He walks out of his house. He walks to a busy coffee shop. The coffee shop is full of people. There are college students studying. There are friends talking. There are people reading books. Leo opens the door. He walks inside. He stands in line to buy a coffee. He is sweating. He is waiting for the laughter. He is waiting for people to point their fingers at him. What would you do? Would you wear the ugly shirt to test your fear? Leo waits. 1 minute passes. 2 minutes pass. A man in front of him is looking at his phone. A woman behind him is looking at the menu. The barista is busy making coffee. Nobody is looking at Leo. Nobody is laughing at his pink pineapples. Leo buys his coffee. He sits at a table in the middle of the room. He drinks his coffee for 30 minutes. He looks around. He watches the people. He notices a girl in the corner. She spills some sugar on the table. She looks embarrassed. She quickly cleans it up. She looks around to see if anyone saw her. Leo smiles. She thinks she is in the spotlight. He notices a boy walking to the bathroom. The boy has toilet paper stuck to his shoe. He walks across the room. Nobody notices. Everyone is looking at their laptops or talking to their friends. Suddenly, Leo feels something amazing. He feels a heavy weight lift off his shoulders. He feels light. He feels free. The brutal truth is true. Nobody cares. When Leo walks home that day, the world looks different. The sky looks bluer. The trees look greener. He feels like a new person. He realizes that for his whole life, he has been carrying a heavy bag of worries. He worried about his hair. He worried about his laugh. He worried about his clothes. But the bag was full of nothing. Have you been carrying that same heavy bag? When you realize that nobody is watching you, you become free. You can be yourself. You can wear the clothes you want to wear. You can listen to the music you love. You can dance in your kitchen. You can speak English without fear. Many English learners never speak. They study for years. They read books. They take tests. But when they need to speak to a real person, they freeze. Their throat gets tight. They forget their words. Why? Because of the ego. Because of the spotlight effect. They think, If I make a grammar mistake, this person will think I am stupid. They will remember my mistake forever. They will judge me. But what is the truth? The truth is the other person is just trying to understand you. They do not care about your perfect grammar. They do not care if you use the wrong verb tense. They are just trying to communicate. And 5 minutes after your conversation ends, they will forget your mistakes entirely. They will go back to thinking about what to eat for dinner. Do you agree? Have you ever let the fear of mistakes stop you from speaking? If this story makes you think, follow and subscribe for more English stories and listening practice. On Monday, Leo goes back to work. He feels much more relaxed. He wears a normal shirt, but his mind is different. At lunchtime, he sits with his coworker, Sarah. The same Sarah from the coffee stain day. They are eating sandwiches. Leo decides to ask her a question. "Sarah," Leo says, "can I ask you something funny?" "Sure," Sarah says. "Last Tuesday, I dropped coffee on my shirt. I had a huge brown stain on my chest all day. Did you notice it?" Sarah stops eating. She looks confused. She thinks for a moment. "Last Tuesday? No, I did not notice a stain." Leo laughs. "I was so worried. I thought the whole office was talking about it." Sarah smiles. "To be honest, Leo, last Tuesday I was having a terrible day. I got a bad haircut on Monday night. I hated my hair. All day on Tuesday, I felt like everyone in the office was looking at my ugly hair. I was so worried about myself, I didn't even look at your shirt." Leo smiles back. This is the perfect example. Leo was worried about his shirt. He thought Sarah was looking at his shirt. Sarah was worried about her hair. She thought Leo was looking at her hair. Neither of them was looking at the other person. They were both trapped in their own ego. They were both trapped in their own spotlight. Remember, every sentence you read and hear is helping your English improve naturally. Now you know the secret. Now you know the brutal truth. So what do you do with this information? How do you use this in your daily life? Knowing that nobody cares is actually a superpower. It gives you courage. Here is a challenge for you. Tomorrow, when you walk out of your house, try to play a game. Play the invisible game. Pretend you are invisible. Pretend that people can hear your voice, but they cannot judge your appearance. They cannot judge your mistakes. When you go to a store, say hello to the cashier in English. If you make a mistake, smile. Remind yourself, they do not care. They will forget this in 2 minutes. When you trip on the sidewalk and almost fall down, don't feel embarrassed. Don't look around to see who saw you. Just laugh. Remind yourself, they are thinking about their own lives. When you want to wear a bright color, but you are afraid it is too loud, wear it anyway. Remind yourself, I am not the main character in their movie. Letting go of your ego is the fastest way to build real confidence. True confidence is not thinking, everyone will like me. True confidence is thinking, I will be fine even if they don't care. The ego is the only thing keeping you locked in a cage. Once you realize the door has been open this entire time, you can finally walk out and start living your real life. So, what is one silly thing you are going to do today to prove that the spotlight is completely fake? Take that step. Every time you expose your brain to a new idea in English, you are rewiring your mind for fluency. Keep feeding your curiosity, and your English skills will naturally follow. If you are ready to break out of your cage and learn more, hit the subscribe button and join us for the next story.